Welcome to the Dead Share Challenge. We've got another amazing guest joining us today who is braving the stage and daring to share all with you. Why? So that you see the human behind the perception, so that you realize that everything is possible, and all of these leaders and these thought leaders that you look up to are just human. They're the same as you and I. And behind the scenes, they're navigating exactly the same things that you and I navigate. They just don't generally talk about it until now. Welcome to the Dead Share Challenge. Elizabeth, hello!
Hello, Claire!
Oh my gosh.
Being here with you today.
I'm so excited to have you with us and so honored that you have chosen to brave the stage and dare to share with us all today.
I am excited, and I want to thank you for my invitation and also thank you for doing this work. I think that your choice to go first, to dive deep, to lift back the veil, right? I think there's so many things that women everywhere have always known and have not been encouraged to speak about. So I think this is a beautiful project. In Spanish, we would say, ¿Qué ovarios? Like, what ovaries on that girl?
I love it. It sounds so much better like that.
Right? How about that?
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. And thank you guys for watching, because this is all for you. This is all for every single woman out there, every single person out there who wants to live their dreams, but sees all of this success and all of these amazing accolades online, and we think that, well, how am I going to do it when I'm a mum, or I'm a struggling housewife, or I have these fears and these doubts and these worries and these hurdles and these obstacles, and they don't have that. Yes, they do. And now we are sharing it all. So what is going to happen? I am going to ask Elizabeth a couple of very, very powerful and potent questions. And the answers, I want you to listen closely to them, because within the answers lies your permission slip, lies your green light to say, okay, I'm ready to go. I am ready to do this. I am ready to make my dreams my reality. If she can do it, I'll damn be sure that I can as well. So with that being said, Elizabeth, I would love to ask you, before we dive in, what made you say yes to coming onto this challenge? Because for a lot of people, it's a step too far, right? It's like, I love what you're doing, but I'm not gonna go and do that.
I love that, and I'm going to offer an interjection, because I feel like I've come by this work honestly. My mother told me, I was in my 30s, I'm now in my 50s, ladies, queens, that I walked myself to kindergarten, right? So in the US where I was raised, that's your first day of your school life. And I don't remember that day, but I remember that I knew where Sunnyside School was. I had been raised to believe that I was going to be able to do it. And flexing that muscle has been something that I have come back to over and over again in my life. Because even if I started early, as you said, you can be damn well sure, one, that you're going to be able to do it, but two, that you're going to forget. Like, something will crush you, something will knock you down, maybe 2, 3, 4 things in a row, and you're going to say, wait a second, where was that little girl who was self-assured, so willing to walk out and find it? And so as an adult woman, saying yes to exactly this type of thing, to remind myself that what I actually want is, it's far beyond the couch. Right? I have to get out and do something that isn't very comfy. And as an educator, I have been a leadership coach across sectors, in many, as we say now, containers. But I've also, for example, I've done all this wilderness leadership. I have accompanied a lot of people saying, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about being that independent or going that far out. And what I would say to all of them, and the real why to this, is because I'm not out here alone. I didn't just turn my camera on. Claire, you invited me. And you are walking with me. And for me, the power of just one other person out there saying, hey, if I can do this, and maybe I was inspired by someone, I'm going to pay that forward, or I'm going to turn that into part of my service, and I am going to invite others along, because it feels fucking terrifying. And when you do it, that's like that type 2 fun, right? Where you're like, that wasn't very fun while I did it, baby. And at the end, you're like, I feel so good.
Yeah, I love that so much. Type 2 fun. I am coining that. I've never heard that before.
You haven't? That's out there. It's not mine. It's shared wisdom that I've borrowed. 1 is fun while it's happening and you want more. 2, you're like, that wasn't very fun. But then in the end, you say, oh, like walking up a mountain. It's not necessarily fun. Step, step, step. My pack is heavy. Did we go the right path? You get up to the top and you see the view and you say, oh, well, that wasn't that bad.
I love, oh my God. Okay. We can really go on a tangent here. Like, okay, we can really talk about that, but let's stay focused. Let's stay focused.
Stay focused.
Okay, so Elizabeth, first question that I want to ask you is, what does being a real and a raw leader mean to you? So not just in business, right? We all can kind of understand what that means in business, but in the bigger scheme of things. So as an individual, as a human, as a woman in your own right, that realness and that rawness, how does that kind of seep into your life behind the scenes?
I love that. It's such a juicy term, Claire. And I have definitely tuned in to hear other women and how they've responded to this. And again, it's an unusual invitation, right? I think women have received messaging for many of us, for much of our lives, of not being real, right? Go ahead and pencil in your eyebrows now that you're 51 to make sure that on camera. And today I did.
I did not.
I don't always, right? And you did not. And that's the beautiful thing of, all right, well, I learned this and it's a thing that I know how to do. Well, it's a tool, and I'm going to choose for myself everything from how much water I drink to what kind of food I choose to consume, right? There's intention as a consumer within that, right? Each of those small choices every day has a butterfly effect, not only within our own systems, our own bodies, our own energetics, our intellects, but the more, and this is what I've really found, the more real we are with ourselves in terms of just being very straightforward, not good, bad, but just cause and effect, right? If I have espresso and cinnamon rolls in the morning, I feel great for a little while, right? And then I have a headache and this processed sugar reaction has crashed. An Ayurvedic healer helped me see that, to say it's not about judgment. It's not if you are good or bad. It's that you, in your daily choices, in your body, make choices, or you take actions, and then you see what happens. Oh, well, what if I had a spiced chai tea where I went down to the market and I got cardamom pods and I got fennel and I spent a little extra time. So maybe I had to go to bed a little earlier the night before. I think having been on the planet long enough that paying attention to my own natural rhythms, for me, that's real. And then having no bullshit about it, that's the part that can be a bit raw, right? Today, I feel pretty good. This morning, if you check my reel, my face was real puffy. I stayed up too late. I didn't drink enough water. And I'm honest about that too. And for me, that's being a bit more raw. I think for a lot of us, it feels natural to shout to the hills when things are going well and we're celebrating ourselves. And certainly for me and for many women I know, both in business and in life, that when things are shitty and you feel like lying on the bathroom floor and you haven't, maybe stuck to some of your self-care choices and routines, it's not a natural moment to turn on the camera and say, hey, you too, right? And so for me, that's the raw piece, is not that you have to show up on camera to do that, but that we need to, each in our way, offer that piece of ourselves, that piece of the process, to as many other people around us who are trying to do a similar thing as we can.
I love that so much. It comes back to the human, right? It's like showing the human side of it, because everything is so whitewashed and it's so kind of smoke and mirrors, and it's all, the holiday pics and the 10K months and 100K months and all of the glory. but with none of the reality of what it took to actually get there, or what you actually felt whilst you were getting there, or all of the hurdles that you navigated to get there. And that, I think, for me is been the real missing piece. It's like, we see all the success, we get that, it's great, but I want to know what I'm going to experience along the way. I want to know how to lead myself along the way by watching how others lead themselves through it. So I love that so much. And the chai tea, I'm going to try it. I've never tried it, and you've just sold it to me. Like,
right? It's a bit of a ritual. You can play with your spices. I cut up fresh ginger. For me, it activates my whole digestive tract. It's really, it's quite a lovely thing. And the effect of espresso, happy for a minute, that's type 3 fun, Claire. Really fun while it happens. And then after the little mini espresso crash, you say, perhaps it wasn't as bad as I thought.
I can imagine a few other type 3s.
Right, perhaps you can. Perhaps folks listening can also identify.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Okay, are you ready to dive into the main question?
Oh my gosh, I'm ready.
She's ready.
I'm terrified, and I'm going anyway.
Love that. That's what it's all about. Terrified and going anyway, because the fear ain't going anywhere. So either you go somewhere or you don't. That's the choice. So with that being said, and my lovely one, what are you willing to dare to share with us all today? And for you guys watching, before Elizabeth shares, I want you to realize that I never tell any of the speakers what they should share or what it needs to be about. There is nothing off of the table here, okay? It can be as stretchy as they want, but all I ask them is that it is something truly vulnerable. That it isn't something they talk about every single day on their social media. That defeats the point. The point is that the speakers come here, the leaders come here, and they show how they lead themselves. They show you that they're willing to get uncomfortable, to give you that permission slip to realize that they're really no different to you and I. That they also feel these fears and these doubts and these insecurities and this imposter syndrome, but they're gonna do it anyway. So with that being said, Elizabeth, what are you willing to dare to share with us all today?
I love this question, Claire, and I'm sharing two things. And the first one I did not share for a long time, and then I did last week, so it no longer counts. So then I'm going to up the ante. So girls and queens, I know that I, like you, was told that I needed to be married by a certain age, that I needed to have the children, that I needed to look a certain way and not look a certain other way. My body needed to be. So one of the gifts that I was given that I didn't want at the time was I was broken up with by the one man that I really believed that I was going to marry and have the children with on the eve of my 30th birthday. And I just read a little post the other day about how I found a leadership lesson within it. And today, because I already let the cat out of the bag, I don't really give a shit. I even said that, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll well up and and it's actually fine. It happened, it was really many, many years ago. That person is happily married. I am happily with my partner of 10 years. Life changes. At the time, our perspective tells us, wait, this won't change. This may never change. This may be the thing. So what I am going to dare to share today is a really sad ending to a career and personal investment that went on for a long time. So today I am a leadership coach. I'm also an educator. I'd mentioned that if you had tuned in earlier. And I'm really committed to my own learning and to accompanying especially women, but also young people and really anybody intentional along their own learning journey. Because any work that we do professionally, it's so tied to our self-image, our self-awareness, our skill set, our technical knowledge, and then much beyond that, what is in our brains and what is in our hearts, and certainly for women, what is in our bodies. So I had a transformative experience. Let's say the first time I connected with this institution was way back in 2005. And this was a connection that got me literally out of city. I had like changed jobs and changed dudes and changed relationships and chosen clinical depression as the way that I was walking through the world. And I said, oh, well, I'm a school teacher and I'm clinically depressed. I'm single, I'm also clinically depressed. And I had chosen that, and I didn't know that I could find a way out of that. And one of the ways that I found was this incredible experience where I spent a lot of time outdoors. So when you're outdoors, you don't carry a big mirror around, you don't have phones everywhere, you can't charge everything. I carried everything on my back. I went on a wilderness leadership expedition. It was 30 days. It was very fucking hard at the beginning. And by the end, I had replaced fear with technique. On the second or third day, I was like, I don't know what this is, but I don't want to do it anymore. And this pack is heavy and I'm dirty. And where's my mascara? And these people are going to be able to see right through me. And I fucking lost it. And I said, I'm a mess. That was my big reveal. One, I don't think anybody felt like that was necessarily news. Two, every time we think we're the worst mess, somebody looks you in the eye and says, I've also felt that. And I ended up finding all of this connection, Claire, and it launched a whole different phase of my life where I was able to connect with experiential leadership in a way that was totally new. I got to do stuff I did when I was a girl. I used to go camping and run and play and use my body and have fun and connect with people to face real stuff. There's a thunderstorm coming, or there's a big river that we have to cross, or, actual stuff. Flash forward to many, many years later, at a different point in my career, I sort of came and went from a collaboration with this institution. And we came around to a moment where I really wanted credit for something that I had helped them build. And to not even bother with too many of the specifics, I not only didn't get that credit, but it was kind of handed to somebody else in a way that was really painful to me at the time. And everything that I had, again, built up about myself, what I had to shed at the beginning of coming together with this school, I had used that as fodder to say, oh, aren't I strong and interesting? And now I'm a wilderness leader in addition to all of these other things. And when my identity related to the institution all of a sudden wasn't there, I felt terrible. I felt shame. I felt disappointed in myself. I felt angry that it's really frustrating to be angry at an institution because it's made up of individuals, but like an institution won't return your phone calls or, give a shit about how passionately and eloquently you composed your emails to HR, or, there's a lot of effort, which is all the stuff that I teach as a leadership coach, where we can just feed this energy of what doesn't work and what the heartbreak is and what is devastating to us. And for me, I guess my beautiful thing that I'm really to dare to share is, and I didn't even know what would happen, is I didn't just fall down on the floor. It didn't even take me right now to a place of, that's going to break you apart. Maybe next time I need to come and go, maybe I need to go further. And I'm going to stop and celebrate myself, because when you choose to do work at a high level and to accompany people doing work at a high level, I made a live the other day that said, the magic is real.
I love it.
With you, Claire, the action that you're taking, your willingness to say, this is where I've walked, these are the things in my life and path that didn't bring me any joy at the time, that didn't make me feel proud. And that's what it is, right? I responded from places of really escalated emotion. I internalized shit that wasn't about me. I spent lots of my free time, when I could have been doing really almost anything else, cleaning my room or walking in nature or being present with my partner or hanging out with my dogs, going back through, well, what about this? And then that happened, and this person, and this email. And I think that we don't ever get out of that. But my same healer who turned me on to the espresso and chai thing, when I was like, oh, I can only be happy in the mountains. And now here I am out here far, far away from myself. And she just kept making these concentric circles, kind of tapping her chest and moving her hand a bit far away. And she said, and what you'll notice over time is that the circles become smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's not that you don't get knocked off center or get set off or, be pushed to your edge and maybe fall off, and then you fly away and say, okay, here I am. And you can just come back so much more quickly.
Yes, I love that. That for me, right there, is the lesson. It's not about never failing or never falling flat on your face. It's about how quickly you're able to get back up. And I was actually talking to someone, a client, about this earlier, and she was hanging on to her past success, and she kept leaning into this identity of someone who she's not anymore, because she's not that person anymore. She doesn't have the same financial success that she once had, and yet she's stopping herself from stepping into this new chapter because she can't see that she is still equally as worthy of being successful right where she is now without that financial income to match that. So what you said, it's not about anything that you have in any moment, I don't believe. It's about how you get back up and how you continue to lead yourself time and time and time again. And that dare to share, for me, that's the lesson that I just got out of that. And that's so beautiful.
Oh, I love that, Claire. And I love what you just reflected right back to me, which is just the reminder that I think this presents itself for women so many times in so many different ways, right? Whether we're misidentifying with something that we really screwed up in the past, a behavior or choice, or as you just shared about this other woman who has falsely identified with, because my behavior brought me success, maybe in this one realm, that's all I am, right? It's like, the lesson is the same. It's that misidentification. And it's kind of, it's like that horrible good news of like, guess what? You'll fall down again. There will be lots more to learn.
Yeah.
You didn't miss it. Another messy lesson is right around the corner.
Exactly. And it's learning to enjoy that. It's learning to enjoy the journey of being in the mess, because when we look back, the majority of our life is the messy middle, right? Like, that is the journey. So start enjoying it. That's love this.
The journey.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Journey.
Elizabeth, you are incredible. Could you please tell everyone?
So are you.
Could you please tell everyone, one, about the magic that you bring into the world, and two, where they can find you and get into your world? Because after watching this, they are going to all be over there.
I love that. Thank you so much for the invitation, Claire. And I love women like you who are just, I feel like we're weaving together something big and cool and global. I feel like women who get it, anyone who has an inner queen that wants to come out, that is where you look for me. Recently, I'm calling myself Elizabeth Queen Whisperer, which is where you can find me on Instagram. My name is Elizabeth Catherine Hammond. Depending on my platform at the time, you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And currently I am working with just a handful of exclusive executive clients. Don't fear, this fall I am coming at you with some incredible group programming, and I have been doing more international speaking, and I love being on television. So our offline chat will be about getting on TV. So watch out for me and Claire, because that may be where you see us next. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everyone listening, find your inner queen, let her out.
Let her out. I love it. Elizabeth, you are amazing. Thank you so much for braving the stage, for going first, for showcasing the human behind the perception and showing everyone what a real and a raw leader that you truly are. And for all of you guys watching, I will see you for the next Dare to Share.